welcome to the Showstoppers presented by the Professional Times. Thank you, Salim Suleiman, for having us here in this beautiful studio of yours.
Thank you, June.
Thank you, June.
Man, pleasure's all mine. And we would like to start off with the cliched question. How did you all get into music and how did the musical journey start?
That is such a cliche
But
question.
we won't give you a cliche answer. Well, everybody knows that we are brothers.
Yeah.
So,
Who's the older and who's the younger one?
who do you
Who do
think
you
looks
think is
older?
older?
I still don't know the answer actually. I think Suleiman is older.
Me and older? Really? I look older?
Don't I look older?
I know.
Well, yeah, of course. Suleiman's older. I mean, a lot of people think I'm older because it's Salim Suleiman.
Yeah.
But this name was not, I'm not answering the cliche question because everybody knows that we are brothers and they've seen a lot of interviews of ours that, that our father was a composer and then, we both obviously started learning music at a very young age. So it was quite obvious that we were going to do music together. Everybody has given us so much love ever since we started doing music. I'm not talking about the audience, it started with the industry. That the industry started calling us Salim Suleiman. I mean, we were both individuals, brothers, but we started working together as a team. Obviously, I was doing melody and he was doing rhythm, and then we do bleed into each other's spaces. But people started calling us, "Arey wo gana Salim Suleiman se karwate, arey wo Salim Suleiman ke paas jate." So it became, the name turned out to be like that. So he's older for the record, and I'm younger.
Okay, so you'll have been classically trained, of course. So how does that influence your way of working?
When you do music, you don't think about all these things, right? Okay, I've been classically trained, or I've learned Western classical, I've learned tabla, I've learned drums, I've heard Carnatic music or learned It's just something that goes into your system, right? It is the knowledge that you get goes into your system and it helps you become the sampurna musician that you want to become, the complete musician.
The confidence is always there when you...
So it influences your compositions without you realizing that you are using that knowledge that you have. And for a musician, that's the most important thing, is knowledge.
Yeah.
And the deeper you dive into that knowledge, the better you come out as a musician, as a pakka musician, or I would say a complete musician who has enough knowledge to be able to turn around and say, "Arey nahi yaar, this is not that rag, this is this," because he's got it in him. It's not something that you learn. You have to imbibe it and you have to keep it inside you.
Amazing. So I would also like to know, you all have collaborated with stalwarts like Ustad Zakir Hussain and then Ricky Cage, and how was it like working with the greats of music?
It's, with Ustad Zakir Hussain, it was life-changing because, from a very young age, we've watched him since the time I've started knowing anything about music, I've seen him. And we've been very fortunate because, Suleiman was studying under Tawfiq Bhai and Ustad Allah Rakha Khan Saab's academy. So it was, ghar pe aana jana rehta tha. And, our father was very close to the family and hence we got introduced to Zakir Bhai, Tawfiq Bhai, Fazal. So it was very organic way that we were introduced to the family, and through him then we learned music through Ustad Sultan Khan Saab. We met him, and then so it was a nice thing. When it comes to working with them, it was literally what do I say? It was
Fun.
Fun is a very frivolous word. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. It was a learning experience. I think it was an opportunity that we will value and treasure for the longest time. It's every moment that we've spent with them, with Zakir Bhai, with Sultan Khan Saab, is truly something that we will treasure for the longest time, because it's not just about music. It's about how you deal with life, with knowledge, with every day-to-day life where you meet people and you the knowledge that you acquired, you implement it in your music, in your song, whether it's a commercial song or it's a non-film thing you're doing or a film stuff, whatever. The way you implement your knowledge. A lot of times you have the experience in the knowledge and stuff, but you don't implement it. So it's very important to somehow try, and your music should have a reflection of your personality and your knowledge. And we've learned how to do that being with them. And that's something which is, and I always say that music is 50% learning, which you learn from your gurus and your ustads and from Google and from whatever. But 50% is also listening. You listen to musicians, you listen to great songs, you listen to great artists, and you experience that, and that teaches you a lot as well. So you have to keep your mind and your spirit open for knowledge all the time.
Of course, yeah. And I one question that I have always wanted to ask both of you is, when I would listen to your songs, when I was not a singer myself and just as a listener, just as a viewer, I could always identify the songs. I later came to know it was the both of you. I could always identify the songs that you have programmed, but then you were primarily working as music programmers. So then I didn't know the wherewithals as to how things go, but I could identify the songs, and
it's called the Salim Sulaiman Chhap.
Yes.
Or the signature sound.
I hate to say it like
predominantly.
I hate to say it like that. I don't like to use the word. It's a Salim Sulaiman sound. Because I feel that it's the people that have given us the love and inspiration. Music is always about people. I always keep my team first before my name. And because today you don't realize that every person adds so much value to your music. A musician, a drummer, a percussionist, a singer, a lyricist. Everybody is a team. But yes, to be able to create a certain thing that you really like is very important. We've always tried to make a good song rather than a hit song, because when we make a good song, then it goes
automatically,
it automatically has your stamp on it because you like it. So that is I feel is very important, that you should like the song. Even if it's a commercial brief, even if it's a certain thing. Like when we were working on Qurban, we were working on Band Baja Barat. We wanted to make a wedding song, but how Avi became different was we created a song that we liked. Even though the producer and the director didn't like. We liked it and we pushed for it. And we somehow, and then, because we liked it, we took the risk, and people obviously liked it, and it was path breaking because we took a risk there. So that's something that keeps giving you that little identification that this is their song.
There was one particular sound which was always there in most of your songs, and you could make it, okay, this is done by Salim Sulaiman. Definitely yes.
I guess
that was yours.
That electronic sound.
That
electronic sound.
thing, yeah. And
so we always had, we were always ahead, or at least tried to stay ahead when it came to technology or new sounds.
Yes.
Trying to figure out what's the new thing. And I guess over time you get a certain amount of sounds that become part of your regular palette. It also becomes your signature in a lot of ways. And they're just so cool as instruments that you want to use them all the time. And we never shied away from using the same sound over and over again because it just became the signature sound. And so, a lot of people would turn around and say, this is programmed by you, right? I said, how do you know? I say, I can hear this sound, you have this one particular
or even
kick.
the groove, yeah, exactly.
You have this one particular kick that you use. And I said, I love that kick because it sticks out from anywhere, from everything. It's that one kick that stands out. Doesn't matter how heavy the bass is, doesn't matter how heavy the production is, that one kick will stand out. Or there was one snare which I would constantly use. So there are those certain sounds and certain signature sounds which we had, which made it. I'm not sharing my secrets beyond that.
Yeah,
of course.
It's also like when we are working, there's a certain groove that he would come up with, which is so massive that I had to kind of like do it with a massive bass line, and suddenly the rhythm section of that song becomes
Killer.
epic, and then everything is just like jumping out and sounding big. If it's like a kind of even if it's a love song, if it has a fat groove, and that actually gives it a lot of identity because the song is sweet and beautiful and it has nice emotions and stuff, but then the groove is really kicking and it's got a nice big sound to it. So things like that, when we work on a song, as a collaborative effort between me and him, it turns out to be pretty amazing.
I remember very distinctly when I met you all initially that in those days, musicians mostly would be working on Cubase and Pro Tools, and those it was very new for me, everything. But you all were the first guys to be working on Logic, and so always like the cool guys.
I think Logic
innovative and-
is.
So when we
now a lot of
started,
people, yeah.
so the problem was when we started, Logic was not available.
Yeah.
I mean, it was available briefly on
Mac. It wasn't on PC.
On PC. No, it was on PC for a very limited time.
That's right, yeah.
And then it went on to Mac. So everybody started using whatever was available on PC.
PC, yeah.
Because Macs were very expensive at that point. And we made the effort to jump over and to start using a Mac at that point. And so, which is why, and it was one of the most complete softwares in terms of production, and so that was our thing.
Yeah, it was
and the beautiful thing is people came and heard us, or heard the sound that we were able to produce, and moved to Logic.
Yes.
So, a lot of times where people came and said, "Hey, I love the way you produce this," and they moved.
Yeah, it's Logic has a lot of different. It has more scope for MIDI things. I felt. I guess Cubase has come to that point now. I don't really follow what Cubase is doing because we've been using Logic ever since. But Cubase has actually done some great research and development on their MIDI stuff, and it's now at par or probably better. I'm not sure. But the fact that Apple has bought over eMagic a few years ago, which was the parent company of Logic, and now Apple owns it, makes it it just makes it more usable for all the Apple users and stuff like that because it's part of their family now. But yeah, softwares. There are softwares and technology, and that doesn't make music.
No,
Music
it's
is
the
music
sense
is
inside.
you can make music out of no software, and it's the. I think that the focus we've always used software or technology as a tool,
Yeah.
not as the most important thing, because we've come from a time where we've played live music with a live orchestra, and it's recorded on tape. There was no software, there was no computer, there was no nothing. So we've come from that time. It's going to be 30 years next year for us in the business. Not only as musicians, but as composers. Our first album came out in '92. So next year is going to be 30. But before '92, we were working as musicians in a tape format. So we've
You have just
Been there, done that.
blended everything so beautifully, and that's kept you all ahead of the game.
I mean, we started off when I was 12, 13 as a musician. 13, 14, I guess.
Maya himself.
Yeah, Maya Meem Sab was all tape based.
Yeah.
This is TSR8, Tascam. So
I
yeah,
mean, so that's like,
a few years ago.
Yeah.
33, 34 years ago, yeah. So yeah, I guess but that was as in the capacity of a musician. As composers, our first album came out in '92 with Chitra and Voodoo Rapper. So next year is going to be 30 years.
congratulations. And thank you
you.
for being here.
Thank you.
We
I
are
think we're
blessed.
done. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So,
Can continue.
of course, the next question is Bhumi 2021. Before that, I want to know about Bhumi 2020. It's one of my favorite
thank you,
albums.
Actually, before Bhumi 2020, you should know about Bhumi.
Bhumi. Yeah, how did you all
Because
come up with that?
Bhumi was the parent, the big
Project.
one, the brain, the thought, and the whole process started with Bhumi.
That was in 1999.
Okay.
We started working in 1997.
97 or 8, yeah.
97, 98. We were traveling the country at that point, and we were recording music from everywhere. We would go sit down, have chai, and listen to music, all the regional folk. And actually, before that, we were in London for something. And as at that point, used to have cassettes. So we would always go into the Virgin Megastore or any of those
Tower
stores.
Records or any of
Tower
those things.
Records. And we went and we would look for different music to listen to, and a lot of world music that we would want to listen to. So we went there and realized there's Greek music, there's Spanish music, there's American folk, there's all kinds of folk music. In India, there was only classical music. There was no folk music. So there was no representation of...
As in, what he means is the Indian section of the store.
Yeah. So you had the world section which had, Greek, Spanish, Turkish, Egyptian, all those kinds of world musics. And they had all these artists playing either flamenco, or you had oud, or all those different instruments that you could listen to. In the Indian section, they only had classical music. There was no folk music, nothing. That's when we decided, we should do something. Our country is so rich in its culture and diversity. In every few hundred kilometers, the language changes, the music changes, the sound changes, the way the food is cooked changes, everything changes. So at that point in 1997, we decided to create Bhumi, the album.
Showcase all of it, which makes India.
So we were trying to
Just
cover
one.
a little bit, as much as we could cover. We had only 8 songs. It started with Ustad Sultan Khan singing Katena Hi Raat Mori, Piya
Oh,
Tore Ka.
that was.
That was from Bhumi.
That is
Oh
Bhumi.
wow! Okay, I didn't know the name of the album, but that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs.
So that's where Bhumi started from, and after which, obviously, for 20 years we got into producing music for other people, producing our own music, from producing to composing, background scores, and all of that. And then life came a full circle, and 2019 we decided that we wanted to recreate Bhumi, or not recreate, but reimagine and restart the process and the whole movement of Bhumi. And fortunately or unfortunately, we managed to finish recording the album
And filming it.
and filming it. In January we filmed it, I remember.
Before Corona.
And we finished and the lockdown started. So, but of course we managed to finish it, we managed to record it, did everything, mixed online, all of that. And Bhumi 2020 was very well received. It was something that we wanted to do, to relive it. And now what has happened is Bhumi, then we decided to make Bhumi a movement. So every year we will do Bhumi as a project.
Great. I'm so glad.
And so Bhumi 2021 releases. The first song releases on the 18th of October.
Yeah. I mean, Bhumi 2020 was after a long gap. There was an independent music album where all the songs were like so good. You could not pinpoint as to one favorite. Every song
You're
was
very
like,
kind. Thank you.
Reaching out to you. So
It was an album, वो गवैयों का album था.
yeah, and all great artists, of course,
I
all
mean,
of them.
yeah, everybody, Arijit and Shreya and Kaushiki and Osman Mir and Sukhwinder Singh, Jonita, all of them
Jonita,
are
yeah.
beautiful singers, great voices, adding diversity. Salman Ali, Raj, Vipul, all of them, Nikita Gandhi, they're all just bringing in their touch and their flavor to the album in a very unique and interesting way. This year, it's not just Salim Suleiman, it's Anurag Saikia, it's Clinton and Bianca as Shore Police. It's
Ricky.
It's Ricky Cage. It's 3 other composers apart from us.
So they've also composed in there. Okay.
Yeah. So and we're hoping that next year we'll have
5 and 5 maybe.
Yeah, we'll have more composers. So we'll then go on
It's like
like
a big
that.
movement happening.
Yeah.
So the idea is to be able to first bring out the folk music of India, the traditional folk that we have. There are some songs which will be left behind when the generation turns. So why not document them now? Before the tradition moves, and all this folk is handed down from generation to generation. And this generation is more interested in social media than in the folk music of India. So, to document it, to be able to give it a new face, to be able to give it a new identity and say, hey, listen, okay, back then we used to listen to the songs in a different format. Maybe they used to have the traditional instruments that used to accompany the music. The music is still the same. The accompaniment has changed. The world around it has changed. It's become more digital. So we are adding a little more color to it, making it palatable for even a guy who listens to or a girl who listens to Katy Perry and all that will be able to identify with that and say, hey, listen, this sound is very familiar. I can relate to this. And so that's the whole idea behind that.
Yeah, you're definitely hitting the right spot there. So, good luck with it, and
Thanks.
good luck to all of. I mean,
No,
what
to
should
you
I
as
say?
well. Because you know what, June, I want to say that you, as a musician, as a singer, you are so loving in giving us so much. You know, I feel, especially because I see your comments and your, you know, all your love that you send us on the content that we put out. It's really nice for us to get the support from musicians and singers.
Totally
You
love
yourself
that.
are a fantastic singer, so we really value, and I know that you are doing great stuff in your own capacity as a musician, as a singer, and wish you all the best for that. We as a team, you know, I mean, I feel everybody in our community as musicians, singers are one, you know, and the more we unite and the more we come together to create good music, that's the only way we'll be able to, you know, we'll be able to put out good music, because there's a lot of stuff that is happening. There's a lot of in this country itself, there's so many different, you know, I mean, there's regional, there's Bollywood, there's this, there's that, there's hip hop has its own thing. But in everything, there's always that pressure of bringing out stuff that works. Not that it should be good or whatever, or have any artistic or some kind of traditional touch or historic or something like that. So it's important that we believe in our art and we continue to do good stuff without getting that pressure of creating commercial stuff, because then as a community, at least we are pushing the artistic artistic elements, you know. Otherwise we will just be doing what the
pressure was
what the
always
industry
there, and then
requires.
you're not doing the stuff that your heart wants to do. But having said that, all the love that you get is totally heartfelt. I want to say that on camera. These two are one of the nicest, warmest gentlemen in the industry. Seriously,
You're
honestly.
very kind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And on that note, for the female fans, I would like to know, how do you all stay so fit? I mean, being so busy, what motivates you all to?
Why
the
female
female
fans
fans?
only? Exactly. Thank you. Why just female fans?
Okay, all right. All the
Are
they-
they,
male
are they
fans
the only
also
ones
do-
interested in working out?
Unisex fans who wants to know what motivates you all to go for it and stay so fit. And
first of all, when you are on stage, it's hectic,
Yeah.
right? It's a workout.
yeah.
When we are on stage, we are not just standing there and singing.
Yeah, but what, Sulaiman, you've not been on stage for the past 2 years.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It shows.
That's no. I'm not saying that. I mean,
No,
actually-
let me finish. So when you are on stage, it's a hectic workout as well, and to be
Do that, yeah.
to be able to perform on stage, you have to stay fit.
I
Or
want
else
to
you
I
will-
want to recorrect him. I want to say that our set is very energetic.
That's what I said.
You know, no, you said like to be on stage. But there are a lot of people on stage who don't really have that kind of an
And I
energy.
said that as well.
So basically, you know, our set is a kind of a hectic set. It's in the sense it is, as a performer, you have to, there's a lot one does.
yeah, you have to totally connect with the audience.
It's not only just that. There's a lot of dancing, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of connect. You can connect with the singing, you don't need to move too much. But there is a lot of dancing and it's an act.
Yeah.
So it is, there is a lot of movement, there's, you know, interaction between us musicians and singers and everything. So after we finish the set, you know, you've seen your watch and you've burned a lot of calories. So that's one. But of course, we've not been on stage as much in this whole pandemic, and it's because we've done so many concerts before in the past, before the pandemic hit in. It was a sort of a routine that we
Ritual,
got into it, like, you know, to keep fit, to keep your fitness together. So even though the pandemic hit, there was little utar chada with weight and stuff like that, but now it's, you know, there was some kind of discipline to make sure that there is proper eating and proper diet and proper workout and proper this and that. And the festival season is about to start and the gigs are about to start, so you better get in shape.
Inshallah, yeah. What everybody would like to know is, when you're not doing music, what else are you all doing? Jumping off cliffs or?
Yeah, sometimes.
That also. I do a lot of reading,
Yeah, okay.
stock market,
Oh, okay. Wow.
cryptocurrency, it's everything. I like to know what's going on in the world. I like to know what Tesla is up to. I'd like to know what Elon is up to. I'd like to know, you know, knowledge, like I said, knowledge is the most important thing.
Totally cued in with what's happening
Yeah.
in and around. So what about you?
I used to be liking video games, but all my time I devote to music now. All my time. If it's not music, it's Merchant Records, which is music again. So Merchant Records is a company that we started last year. It's a label, and I put in a lot of hours to work hard and make sure that the company grows as an establishment, not only just for us, but because the label is empowering a lot of singers and musicians and writers and lyricists. So to see a change in this world, you need to work hard,
You need to be the change.
and it's important that what you say you should do. It's not. It's important. It's very easy to say things like that. That we do this, do that, but to implement it and do it is very important. So I push myself all the time. I just can't chill. I can't, because I feel that the time is something that will never ever stop. It'll just move, and boom, it's gone. So that's very important. I make sure that as a result, I sleep less sometimes. Because I'm wired like that. I make sure that, because Merchant Records is such an important aspect of my life right now, I want to build this label and create it like an artistic label, so that it's not massive in terms of just business, but also in terms of art. That it has great songs, it really pushes good music and good talent, and is fearless in promoting ghazals and thumris and all kinds of things.
No, I mean, you all are definitely the walking, talking example of for the change, be the change. Because I remember meeting you on a reality show, and you were telling that you all are meaning to come up with something different. And a lot of people say a lot of things, but they don't really
That's what I
do
said.
it. But you all, and then the harm it comes, Merchant Records is out and about and, promoting such good talent and people who need the push. So thank you for that, and
So
great
we've been lucky and fortunate. And a lot of hard work from Salim. We've managed to release one song, dedicatedly one song every week,
Yeah,
And we are
yes.
pushing it to 2 now.
and
every
we're
week.
pushing it to
And
2.
all of them are so good. I mean, which one? do
It's
you
not
really-
just us, so because it's a label that's started by us, but we are empowering other people to release through. So
Yeah.
everything is not ours.
Yeah.
In fact, just 30% or 20% is ours, probably. 80% is everyone else. And that was the point of doing it. We wanted to create a sort of a place where everyone can participate and be part of this creative community. All good songs, you go to a label, you go to any big label or whatever. It's a beautiful song, great composition with little gaiki, some classical shades, will never be allowed. You need a hit material. There's so much pressure on every artist. Yeah. You may have studied classical music and rags and this and that, and in one of your compositions, you showing off a little bit of your gaiki and your shades of a rag and stuff like that. No way, you can do that now. So it's slowly, art will die if you go on like that. So that's why I thought we'll create a label, which we will. I'm not saying that it's only going to release artistic stuff. We will release some commercial stuff as well, and we'll try and be equal to create a lot of art and culture and traditional things. So that is a great balance.
I think we need more artists like you all to be hemming the music, the record label industry.
करो सब लोग करो, please करो. हम
Rather
लोग तो
than
कर ही रहे हैं.
people who are out there to only make money, probably.
Yeah.
So,
I'm saying we are doing it anyway.
okay, so we all know the ill effects of the pandemic on the world. So in general, but do you think there's any positive effect on the music industry as such?
A lot of people were sitting at home, and घर पे बैठे बैठे बहुत लोग म्यूजिक बना भी रहे थे. A lot of people were creating music, and a lot of people were listening to music also. So when you're working and you're sitting at home, for the change that you need, they were listening to music. And the beautiful thing that happened through the pandemic was, because there was no film music coming out, a lot of the independent artists got recognition. A lot of new artists were born. A lot of new singers got the opportunity to show their talent in the independent space. And I think it did a lot of good for the independent artists and all of that. So that has become a consumption pattern now, where people are not saying, "Ki, arey, I want to listen to film music, I want to listen to independent music." They want to listen to only music now.
Bollywood is not ruling the roost.
It's not about ruling the roost. It's just that people have gotten used to listening to alternative music.
Yeah.
They are not thinking that, oh, I want to listen to only a particular artist or B particular artist, or I want to listen to a song which has A film star or a B film star. They are listening to music and saying, oh, I like this song.
Yeah.
And then, so the discoverability of music through the pandemic has grown. And that, I think, is a big change that has happened
Huge.
for everybody.
Super. Was an honor
Thank
and
you.
my pleasure entirely to be here on the
Thank
show
you,
with
June.
you. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Professional Times. It was really nice talking to all of you, and hope that we can keep doing good music and keep making everyone very happy with all our stuff.
Thank you.